What's up, guys? Your boy Dabuz is back with another tier list, end of the year update, and there's actually quite a lot of changes to talk about in terms of my opinion, at least, on the meta for the game, the characters, despite no patches. It's one of the fun things, right? When the game is constantly changing, people are constantly learning, etc., etc. All the tiers are ordered. However, what matters more is the tier characters in versus the order themselves. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. It just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. None of the characters have changed, of course, no new patches. So unless there's been a significant development, I'm not gonna try to spend too much time on any character. There's too freaking many characters to give all of them like their own 5-minute section or anything. There's a loud ass siren outside as I'm recording this. It's hilariously loud. Alright, so starting off, the worst character in the game in my opinion, Ganondorf. I don't think much needs to be said about this character, right? It's freaking Ganondorf, man. Slow, hitbox aren't great, frame data's poor, recovery is bad, disadvantage is bad. Like, he is the funny character. He is the character that's great on Elite Smash. He's the, hey, I can outplayer you, so let me hit you with some stuff and kill you at 60. But in any serious match, almost all of his matchups are considered losing at this point. I will say, also, before someone goes, well, I've seen Ganondorf players do well in bracket, it's ultimate. Even the worst characters can do well. They can run the good matchups, they can have good brackets, whatever it is. We've seen literally like the worst characters in the game do well under the right hands. Consistently, not necessarily. Lucario. So Lucario is a character that I think in particular is aura mechanic. It ended up not being super great in this game just because in this game so many characters are able to kill effectively, whether through setups, raw kill moves. As a result, like his main mechanic isn't that helpful, and otherwise he's just a subpar character. His moves are subpar, movement isn't that great either. Aura Sphere has a nice move and he has some stuff, but at the end of the day, I think most characters can just kind of wall at Lucario through straight up better neutral and then kill his poor recovery. He's also, even with aura, not as scary as someone like Pyra or Kazuya, honestly. And moving on, Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant is a character I think a lot of people like playing. I feel like Piranha Plant is one of those characters where it's like, hey, he has funny ball move, he has funny combos, he looks funny, and then it's like, where are the actual good moves? When Piranha Plant's best moves are like jab, back air, neutral B, like not even particularly good moves, it's kind of rough. And then his recovery is really easy to 2-frame and generally edge guard. Character's heavy, which is nice, but I honestly look at the character and I'm like, what does the character have going for them besides like really good light trapping with neutral B? To me, I feel like that's all I see in the character that's good. That's rough. I've like seen no results for this character for like forever. I don't like to focus just on results. I feel like results are a great way to either validate or question my opinions on characters. So sometimes lack of results is enough as well. Speaking of lack of results, Misordi. This character is like the worst zoner in the game. Like this character has some actually decent zoning buttons, I'm not gonna lie. Decent projectiles overall. Some characters hate fighting Misordi. Like actually like all of our Misordi is really annoying in my opinion. The problem is lack of good like normal buttons. Like the Nair is okay. Maybe like the up air, you can combo to up down throw with bad DI. It lacks good moves, lacks good mobility. Doesn't really have a niche outside of being like a very specific anti-zoner type of zoner. Because even that, most zoners have good like close range boxing buttons to complement the zoning. Next up, Kirby. Kirby is just slow. Because Kirby has really good buttons up close. Really like crazy tilts. Pretty decent combo game, although it's not super amazing. It does have some kill confirms if you can land like the down airs though. Multiple jumps is nice, but really just too slow. Too much trouble getting in. If someone wants to play super lame, can't do platform camping. Easy to edge guard. Like it's literally all of Kirby's issues come down to being really slow, floaty, and light, while not having like any mechanics to kind of force approaches. And when you're forced to approach and are slow, it's generally hard because a lot of the good characters just zone you out and are fast in this game. So next up, Little Mac. Little Mac's a funny character because he's actually a character that has a lot of matchups where he's actually kind of good in. I'm not gonna lie, the Mac is back, sort of. You've seen Peanut do well with him. I think there's a Japanese Mac that does well with the character because when he can just run up and just he's chilling. The problem is how many characters can be like, oh, it's Little Mac, low platform camping, low massive sword and projectiles like a snap that just don't let him play the game. Low, he's off stage free edge guard. He's also just kind of rolling the dice a lot of times on landing like KO punches or challenging moves with armored smash attacks that may or may not actually hit the opponent. It's a rough life out there for him. But I will say in the matchups where he's not just getting cheesed out and validated like on the character select screen, he's pretty scary. In bracket, you're either like, yeah, or you're like, shit, I might lose to this. Next, we got Banjo. So this character, I think he's only a DLC character this year without any top 4s at any majors, according to Red Thread I saw. And I'm not counting playing as DLC, by the way, let's be real here. And I think Banjo's problem is he's a weird mix of a zoner, but a good close range character. He's very Olimar-esque in that regard, where it's like the character's really strong up close, has some decent zoning, and the zoning is kind of meant to both keep people out, but let you get in. The problem is the actual zoning tools are super undertuned. Grenade is one of those things where like you can use it against Banjo a lot of times, and it's so slow that you can just see coming and deal with it. Egg is like really obnoxious, and if you use it as a close range tool, you can get like some conversions off it if you want to break your hand learning crazy TAS level tech with him, which granted is pretty good, but there's just so many better zoning tools. He doesn't have the best buttons still, like up air does no damage, forward air slow, and it's like, I don't know, it feels like he's supposed to be a character that's really supposed to be oppressive up close and have tools make that happen with his projectiles, and it doesn't work. DDD. I used to think this character was underrated for a long time, and now I finally accepted. Nah, he's just bad. Especially nowadays, when most characters have, really developed their combo game, their advantage state, light trapping, juggling, you name it. And then this DDD just like big, slow, floaty, getting hit by all this stuff. Gordo is like kind of easy to counterplay if you know what you're doing for a lot of characters. Unless you have the ledge. He's like problem. If you get ledge trap by him, okay, you're gonna freaking get hit and die sometimes, and that's just how it is. Yeah, as long as you don't lose the neutral to a slow, floaty, poor frame data, comboable ass, like, alright, you're chilling. And then finally we got Zelda for the lowest of low tiers. She's a character that she has one button, and that's the B button. And there's some good moves in there, right? All those B button moves are good. But the problem is, they all have some major weaknesses. Down B just takes forever to charge like to a decent level, and the uncharged versions aren't that rewarding. And if you have ways to pressure while she's down Bing, well, she's screwed. Neutral B is like this high risk, low reward move that's a great get off me tool until someone blocks it and kills you for it. Up B is like a good call out move that when it whiffs, it's super easy to punish. And then side B is anyway, and then her normals, right? Like, she got decent dash attack. Her fair if she hits you with the sweet spot, scary. But, man, no. They really thought all those B moves were it. They were like, we don't need to make good A moves. We got good B moves. That didn't work out too well. Next tier. This is like the part of low tier where these characters are, in my opinion, just a step above the other ones. And a lot of these characters, depending on who you're talking to, are a mid tier, right? So, first one, Meta Knight. We've seen Apadongo put in work with this character at a tournament a while ago. And that's about it for the character. And the character, it's the same old. Linear, neutral. If the character plays a matchup where they just can't approach on the ground with either dash attacks or dash grabs, they got nothing. They got like burst options that are risky, like down B, side B, cool. They kind of can like camp you with jumping and like spacing aerials, but most characters have answers for that. Even when they get hits, their conversion game is inconsistent. They can sometimes get 20 to deaths, and other times they can't convert more than like 30 damage, and it's like, okay. I will say the character's fast on the ground though. Being fast on the ground and having a 50-50 with combos makes you better than the entirety of the lowest tier, in my opinion. Then we got Ike. Ike is like this character that on paper, he's fine. He's got some decent range, some decent damage, okay combos, his recovery's okay. He's super okay at everything for a sortie. And the problem is, I feel like you can't just be okay at everything without any special gimmicks at this point. Like if your gimmick is armored up B is good, or like you hit people with like nair up air at some sense and kill them, and then you're just slow with poor frame data. It's like you're playing a lot of losing matchups, but you're not playing matchups really that you just get invalidated in, so that's fine. But you're also not really putting yourself in any advantage by playing him. Bowser Jr. Oof. That's what I say with this character. Oof. Honestly, I think he rose since my last tier list. I put him in the bottom tier before, and I give him credit. The cart is really annoying. It has a nice hitbox. It's armored. It's fat. It's kind of fast. It has like some start, but moves fast, of course. But he also has disjointed aerials to complement that. He has ledge trapping, which is pretty good with like forward smash and jab. The Koopa car is like kind of annoying too, if you can like set that up. He also has some combo game. Like, yeah, some stuff. Despite all this stuff, slow character, poor frame data. You know, like he wants to land side Bs, and because he's so like reliant on that and doesn't really have the best kit for other tools, he ends up being a matchup knowledge character, I'd say, and a like I punish your mistakes type of character. I know I've seen Yoda Cage do well. I think there's some other Bowser Jr. player doing well because it's ultimate. Anyone can do well, they're good enough. But it's rough for him. It's rough. Alright, K-Rool. K-Rool is this character where it's like, he actually has a lot of good strength, so his projectile game is good. Armor game is good. He's heavy. He hits hard. He has down throw berry. But I feel like for all of his strengths, there's a major weakness. The armor can be challenged with strong enough moves. Also, the armored moves tend to be laggy, which makes sense. Crown Toss, especially, great move, but it's super slow. If you get the crown from him, it's bad, of course. His recovery, it goes kind of far, but it's actually pretty exploitative if you know what you're doing. His berry can be mashed out if you're like good at it. And finally, his normals are just, they're all like kind of punishable. He is a character just punishable. And in fact, he's combo food, and he really just doesn't survive going into 2023 meta of Ultimate. No, Villager. He's weird. I put him super low on my last list, and honestly, nothing's really changed with the character, except I'm just like, you know what, he can't be that bad, right? Right. But he's still pretty bad. I don't really know what the devs want to do with Villager. It's like he was meant to be a zoner with a slingshot and side B, but he's not really good at that. He's kind of okay up close with his nair and his jab, but there's like not enough reward off of it. He has a poor grab. His recovery's alright, and if he gets time to set up like tree and ledge trapping, kind of annoying. If he pockets your stuff, it's annoying. But I don't really know what this is supposed to become. It feels like there's not a cohesive kit. There's just a lot of randomly decent stuff, like the jab, like the nair, like the fair and the bear. Kind of like Banjo, where it's like this like zoner brawler hybrid. But the tool used to get in is side B, which isn't good enough. He has a decent up air and down air too, but like it just doesn't feel like it combines with anything useful overall. Not compared to some of the other BS characters have. Dr. Mario. This character can be scary. He's Mario, but worse. He's slower, but he still has good frame data. Pills are really dumb. I'll be showed an absurd kill move. If you're fighting this character, it's kind of like Kirby. You're just gonna lose if you directly fight this character. So you have to lame him out. And if you don't have the tools to lame out, like if you're a character like Fox or like Roy even, where you have to kind of fight him at some point, that can be scary. You know, he has like also down throw, down B. That can be scary. Down tilt up B is the thing. Like he has a lot of stuff like that. Enough characters in Ultimate, I think, are really good at non-interacting. So a character like Doc gets screwed over by that, in my opinion. We got Puff next. So funny character where it's like if your character has a lot of like safe like anti-airs, you just be Puff. Puff just gets outclassed by so many characters playing a good anti-air game, also playing a good grounded game. But the characters that don't have very safe spammable anti-airs are the characters that get super messed up by edge guarding. Like Min Min, she's actually pretty good for us. So she has like that kind of niche style for us. We've seen Base Mage and even HBox recently doing pretty well with the character occasionally. But it's like for every run they have that they do well, they run into a matchup like Pyramithra or Cloud, or just like LOL, losers bracket, you're Puff. Almost a mid tier, but I think she's too easy to matchup check. And finally, Duck Hunt. This is just a character that's like not really good. Just that's it. The character has some annoying stuff with Gunman, can, whatever, sure. But the normals being so bad, you can't have bad normals in this game. That's a common trend. Is all these characters have some good specials, have some good gimmicks, whatever, but then the normals just aren't good enough. In Duck Hunt's case, hitboxes aren't great, reward isn't that great unless you land like up air chains on people. They're not like really that safe on block, on whiff they're kind of poor, and to the character being light, not too fast, and you just have a recipe for a character where it's like you play this character for the funny like B moves, and then once people learn how to deal with the B moves or the character has easy answers for it, it's like, well, at least he has tools to outplay people. If he gets his like walling game, his ledge game going, it's fine, but it's rough for him. With that is the worst of the characters, in my opinion. I'm sure everyone's gonna disagree with me like always in these tier lists, but yeah, and I'll see you for mid tier for the next video.